Let's be honest. You've spent enough money on foundation to understand that the most beautiful bottle doesn't always hold the most beautiful formula. You know that a makeup artist's recommendation doesn't guarantee that the foundation will work for your skin. You know the difference between a product that photographs well and a product that actually lasts all day. So why does the foundation industry keep betting that you won't look too closely? Because most of the time, they win that bet. What you're about to hear is not for the woman still convinced that luxury price equals luxury quality. It's for the woman who is ready to stop funding someone else's marketing department and start wearing foundation that genuinely deserves her investment. These are not value judgments about the women who buy luxury foundation. These are mathematical facts about what you're actually paying for. Before we start, hit that subscribe button because this is the kind of practical makeup knowledge we bring you every week. Let's get into it. Part 1. The brands robbing you blind. 1. Tom Ford Traceless Foundation. $88. Tom Ford understood something crucial about luxury. In makeup, desire sells more than quality does. The bottle is architectural. The packaging is pristine. The brand promise is effortless beauty. And the price, $88 for 1 ounce of liquid foundation, signals that you are paying for something genuinely exceptional. Here's what you're actually paying for. A formula that is genuinely good, but no better than formulas costing 1/4 the price. The Traceless Foundation is well pigmented, builds beautifully, and lasts through the day. These are baseline expectations for foundation, not exceptional qualities worth an $88 price tag. Tom Ford Beauty is owned by Estee Lauder. The production infrastructure is shared with mass market brands. What you are paying for above the actual formula is positioning, the carefully maintained fiction that this is fundamentally different from what drugstore brands are making. The quality of the pigments is professional grade. So is the quality at CoverGirl. The difference is that Tom Ford sells aspiration, while CoverGirl sells foundation. Test this yourself. Swatch Tom Ford Traceless next to Maybelline Fit Me at the same undertone. Apply both to your skin. Wear both for 8 hours. You will find that the longevity is comparable, the finish is comparable, and the coverage is comparable. What is not comparable is the price, which is why Tom Ford is betting you won't do this test. 2. Dior Forever Foundation. $52. Dior has perfected luxury makeup as global spectacle. The campaigns are cinematic. The brand ambassadors are iconic. Buying Dior foundation feels like acquiring a tiny piece of the aspirational universe they've built. It also costs $52 for 1 ounce, which is why the aspiration is so expensive. The Dior Forever formula is genuinely well made. It has good pigmentation, flexible coverage, and professional staying power. It is also not uniquely well made. The chemistry of foundation is relatively straightforward. You have emollients, pigments, preservatives, and silicones. Dior's ratios are excellent, so are Rimmel's. The difference is that Dior spent $5 million on a campaign, and Rimmel spent $500,000. What makes this particularly frustrating is that Dior knows this. They have access to the same ingredient suppliers as drugstore brands. They know that a $52 foundation and an $8 foundation can be equally effective. They are betting that you need to feel like you are making a luxury choice, not just a functional choice. And for women who have internalized the idea that price reflects quality, this bet usually pays off. The shame is that the Dior formula is actually good enough to sell itself. It doesn't need the campaign. It doesn't need the price inflation. The brand simply decided that it does. 3. Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. $46. Charlotte Tilbury has built an empire on the promise that professional makeup artist knowledge is now accessible to everyone. Her name carries genuine weight in the beauty industry, and then she leveraged that legitimacy into a product line priced at premium levels while often delivering accessible results. The Hollywood Flawless Filter is described as a multi-use product: primer, foundation, highlighter, moisturizer. This positioning justifies the price. The reality is that a multi-use product is, by definition, a compromise product. It cannot be optimized for all uses simultaneously. If it is excellent as a primer, it is probably insufficient as a foundation. If it is a good foundation, it is probably not the best highlighter. At $46, you're paying for Charlotte Tilbury's professional credibility more than for the actual formula. The product performs well, but not better than products costing 1/3 the price. What it has that drugstore alternatives lack is Charlotte Tilbury's name on the label and the feeling that you are buying professional makeup artist knowledge. You are not. You are buying a well-made formula with exceptional branding. The irony is that Charlotte Tilbury's actual professional reputation would hold this product at half the price. The brand simply decided that her name was worth a premium, and the market has agreed. 4. Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. $64. Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk has the kind of following that borders on religious. Makeup artists swear by it. Influencers feature it constantly. And the price, $64 for 1 ounce, reflects the intensity of that love. Here's what's important to understand. The formula deserves some of that love. It does not deserve all of this price. Luminous Silk is genuinely exceptional at creating a luminous finish without appearing shiny. The pigment pigmentation is excellent. The staying power is professional. These are not common qualities in foundation. What is also common is that they are available in formulas costing $8 to $15. Maybelline Fit Me Dewy does extremely similar things. It does not do them identically, but it does them in a way that most skin will not detect after day one of wearing the product. What Armani has done brilliantly is create a halo effect around this foundation through strategic placement and influencer positioning. Everyone who loves makeup knows about Luminous Silk. Everyone who knows about Luminous Silk wants to try it. Everyone who tries it loves it, partly because it is genuinely good, and partly because they have invested $64 in the belief that it must be worth it. At $64, you are paying for professional quality. At $10, you can get 85% of that quality. Armani is betting you will not make that comparison. 5. MAC Face and Body Foundation, $42. MAC Face and Body has professional credibility that is genuinely earned. Professional makeup artists use this foundation. It photographs beautifully. It has an impressive shade range, and at $42 for 1.7 ounces, it's positioned as a professional tool rather than a luxury product, which actually makes the pricing worse in a way. The formula is good. The coverage is flexible. The finish is professional. These are all true. What is also true is that this is essentially the same formula structure as Maxi's sister brand Estee Lauder Double Wear, which costs less, performs identically, and is marketed differently. MAC Foundation costs what it costs because makeup professionals will pay it and because the brand positioning allows for professional pricing. What MAC has that drugstore brands lack is professional credibility and a full shade range. Neither of these facts should cost an additional $35 compared to drugstore alternatives. What they do cost is what MAC has successfully convinced the market they are worth. You are not paying for superior quality. You are paying for professional legitimacy and the knowledge that your makeup artist probably uses this brand. These are real values. They are not worth $42 per ounce. Part 2. The hidden gems that actually work. 6. L'Oreal True Match Foundation, $8 to $10. L'Oreal True Match has been reformulated multiple times, and each iteration has become incrementally better. The current formula has excellent pigmentation, builds from sheer to full coverage, and has staying power that rivals luxury brands. At $8 to $10, you are paying for foundation, not for marketing. The finish is natural. The undertone matching is accurate across the shade range. The formula doesn't oxidize. These are all things that luxury brands charge $50 plus for. L'Oreal is charging drugstore prices because they have a different business model. They make money on volume, not on the perception of exclusivity. What L'Oreal doesn't have is heritage branding or professional makeup artist positioning. What it does have is a formula that professional makeup artists actually use when they are buying their own foundation, rather than using what brands send them. That distinction matters. 7. Maybelline Fit Me Dewy Plus Smooth, $7 to $8. Maybelline Fit Me is the foundation that repeatedly outperforms luxury brands in quality comparisons. The shade range is extensive. The formula is well pigmented. The finish is genuinely dewy without being oily, and the longevity is impressive. This foundation lasts through humidity, heat, and a full workday. At $7 to $8, you are getting professional quality formulation at a price point that suggests the brand is confident in the product rather than dependent on perception. The texture is lightweight. The coverage is flexible. The finish photographs beautifully, which is why makeup artists use this foundation when they are working with budget-conscious clients. Maybelline doesn't need you to feel luxurious about buying this foundation. It just needs the product to work, and it does. 8. CoverGirl True Blend, $8. CoverGirl has spent decades building a reputation as accessible makeup that actually works. The True Blend line is their answer to luxury foundations, and the answer is that you do not need luxury prices to get professional results. At $8, this foundation has exceptional pigmentation, stays throughout the day, and has a natural finish that doesn't read as cakey. The shade range is inclusive. The formula is lightweight. The staying power is legitimately impressive. CoverGirl is doing what L'Oreal and Maybelline are doing, selling effective foundation at a price point where foundation is actually accessible to everyone. You are not paying for brand heritage or professional positioning. You are paying for a formula that works. That is enough. NYX Born to Glow, $6 to $7. NYX Born to Glow is a glowing finish foundation that rivals much more expensive alternatives. The formula is lightweight. The pigmentation is excellent. The finish is luminous without being oily. And at $6 to $7, you are getting this level of quality at a price that makes sense. NYX has built its brand on professional quality at accessible prices. This foundation is a perfect example of that philosophy. You are paying for the formula, not for positioning. The coverage is flexible. The longevity is impressive. The shade range is inclusive. NYX doesn't need you to believe in luxury to sell this foundation. It just needs the product to be good, and it absolutely is. Rimmel Lasting Finish, $5 to $6. Rimmel Lasting Finish is the foundation foundation that proves that $5 to $6 can buy you legitimate professional quality. The formula is well balanced, the pigmentation is accurate, the staying power is genuinely impressive. This foundation lasts through the kind of day that would break luxury formulas. At this price point, you are essentially paying for raw materials and manufacturing. There is no campaign budget. There is no influencer positioning. There is no heritage branding. What there is instead is a formula that simply works. The finish is natural. The coverage builds without patching. The shade range is diverse. Rimmel has positioned itself as the budget option for decades. The actual quality often does not reflect that positioning. This foundation is proof that brand perception and actual quality can be entirely unrelated. Across all 10, the pattern is unmistakable. The most expensive foundations are not the most effective. The most recognized luxury brands are not using fundamentally different ingredients than drugstore brands. The difference is marketing, positioning, and heritage branding, doing the actual work of selling the product. The luxury foundations that cost $40 to $88 are genuinely well made. They are also not worth $35 to $80 more than their drugstore equivalents. You are not paying for superior quality. You are paying for the feeling that you are buying something exclusive. Drugstore foundations have caught up. In many cases, they have surpassed luxury brands. The formulation chemistry is sophisticated across all price points. What changes with price is your perception, not the actual foundation's ability to create a beautiful base. You've spent a lifetime developing your makeup taste. Your foundation should perform based on actual quality, coverage, longevity, finish, shade match, not on how much you spent or what name is on the bottle. The best foundation is the one that makes your skin look good and stays put all day. It doesn't have to cost $88 to do that. Tell me in the comments, which luxury foundation are you replacing with a hidden gem? And if you want more honest beauty breakdowns that save you money, hit that subscribe button. Stay flawless, stay fabulous, and I'll see you next time.